Man, this is so late to still be doing my March update. I feel like I'm going a little bit the Allen route of the super delayed updates, but hey, we finally have it. It is the March update. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be doing a very belated March wrap up, which I wish I could say that I like filmed back then and just didn't release, but no. With moving and everything going on, I have not really filmed in quite some time. So this is the first video that I'm filming with the whole new setup here. So same books behind me, but kind of a different setup here. This is the new my new office at the new house. And I'm really glad to be finally set up, but I need to do my March wrap up, and then I need to do my super log April wrap up, as well as film a whole bunch of reviews. So I will be getting back to normal kind of video schedules here soon, and you'll see a lot more videos coming. I still have some old shorts to edit too, so you'll see those slowly coming out as well. But yeah, let's jump into it because March actually was a kind of a slow reading month for me. And I was a little concerned because April was readathon month, and March I was very, very slow, and I was a little bit slow in February, but March was just much slower than normal. I still read some good stuff, and that was the thing is I enjoyed pretty much everything that I was reading mostly, but I was still just going slow. But first we had The Prophecy of the Yew Tree by Ben Spencer. And I did put out a review for this as well, and the other things here, I think mostly reviews are out by this point if they're coming out. Mostly, not 100% sure. I am behind still, but this was interesting, and this was a if you can see the Yew tree was an interesting bit of world building where it's this tree that when it blooms, like its leaves have bits of prophecy, and so the people who control it, they try to collect all of them so that nobody else will know like bits of prophecy in the future and be able to use them. But there are a couple of pieces that show some big things happening going on, and so we're following some different characters as they get wrapped up in sort of the schemes that are happening, including the brother of one of the rulers who can use magic, which is looked at as like a thing where you're kind of cursed, and a young princess of another entity here that has not doesn't have the best relationship with some of the other kingdoms, and her kind of journey, as well as the character that weirdly enough I at first I was thinking I was not going to like following, but Silas O the Songs was an interesting one, who's just a bard who's like not the nicest guy, but just kind of gets wrapped up in this whole situation beyond his control. There were a lot of really cool world building elements here, and while some of the characters felt a little bit flat in places, and it had some of those hiccups of like a newer author figuring it out. Overall, I thought this was interesting enough that I'm very curious to see where the story goes because it sets up a lot of lore that I think potentially is going to come to fruition as it continues. So it was a fun time there, and I'm curious. I think the next book does come out pretty soon. So I'll have to keep an eye out for that as well to see it going. And then I did Voidverse by Damien Ober, one of the rare art copies that I've been getting to. I've been so slow getting to review copies in general, but this one sounded super cool. It's a sci-fi one, and obviously I mostly read fantasy. This is one when I did my review for it, the blurb from like the editor or whoever said, "The Lord of the Rings meets Mad Max in a half-formed world on the brink of a revolution." One of the most ridiculous, nonsensical blurbs I've seen. That does not give you the feel of this at all. It was, I feel like, though, pretty unique because it takes place. There are just these different chunks of stone floating in the void, and you can kind of move between them, but a lot of people just live on whichever one they are. And each one of these like places is almost like its own little world. They have their own different rules, and there's a bigger story that's happening as well going along. But it's just kind of a fascinating world, and the style is different. I think the style is, I've seen some of the reviews since, it's been a little bit hit or miss for people, but I found it really engaging. And my biggest thing is the first character that we follow, I found to be the most compelling character, and we don't get to see as much of them as I would have liked. So I was pulled in really quickly, and I still enjoy the rest of it, but that first POV I would have liked to see more of in here as well. But this was just fascinating. You want to hear me talk more about it? I do have a review of the full thing as well. But I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool, and definitely just one of the more unique things I've done in a while. I then did, which was a patron pick, Plague of Giants by Kevin Hearn. I'd meant to get to this book for absolutely ages. I did just finally have my review for this come out as well here too. And this is one where Kevin Hearn, I don't think is going to be an author that's ultimately for me, but I really liked this, his kind of take on epic fantasy, and the world building here is the thing that's the most fascinating. The idea of the kennings, which are there are different kinds, and they're kind of discovering more. But the thing is, with each kenning, you have to basically risk your life in order for the possibility of being blessed with this kind of magic in really different ways. Like there's one kenning where you have to like dive really deep underwater, and you either are going to survive or you end up like brutally drowning. Or there's other ones where like the earth sucks you in, or you know jump over a chasm and the wind might bless you. And so it's just it takes the idea of having a cost to magic to the next level, where you have to risk your life to even potentially obtain it, but then if you use it, it also ages you. So it's kind of really exploring the extremes of that, but also how it works when there's like different locations. So the just the world building, so good. A lot of really, really great epic fantasy world building, as well as a super fascinating storytelling device, which is the other thing that really stood out. I talked about in the review, where it's this bard who can take the shape of the people who's telling the story, and he's telling these bits of stories through these different POVs. And there's the kind of the B plot that's happening there as well too, with like the real time. So really interesting. I am curious. I have heard some people tell me the first book is the best, which is a little bit sad, but I am planning to continue because I'm really interested after this first book at least. I then did, which I had a copy of, I've since unhauled, The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. And I'd been, you know, looking forward to trying this book for a long time. It's just one of those ones. It's looked at as one of the great novels of all time. It's almost exclusively, I feel like, praised. And I, after reading it, I can see a reason for a lot of the praise, but I also had a lot of issues with this. And I put out my review, and I expected it to end up being a little bit more controversial. And I'm sure I'll still end up getting some like angry comments about it. But I mean, I talked to friends of mine who are huge fans of it. But this was just, it does some really good things with as far as the multi-generational story, and being very engaging. It's very readable in the way that it's going, and like the storytelling I think is strong. It was felt effortless to get through, and the overall story I thought was also done well. My big issues were the female characters, which I thought were all very poorly done, and also just the things that happen to the female characters and the constant like issues with like just assault happening really regularly. Really were some big negatives for me, as well as just some of it getting kind of cheesy with the villains as well. So it ended up, while it had some high highs, it had some very low lows for me, and I ended up pretty middling on it. So I'm glad, this is one of those ones I'm glad I have experienced and I am done. Certainly not going to be reading any more Ken Follett, though, to be perfectly honest. I have no desire to continue on with this series or read like his other stuff as well, just based on this. But it is one of those ones I am glad that I experienced, and I think still too, there are going to be a lot of people who, as long as you kind of are aware of what you're getting into with some of that stuff, I think you can still appreciate other things it's doing. But also, I think there's a lot of people that, you know, knowing those expectations, maybe just don't need to bother reading it, because I was really shocked at some of the issues I ended up having. It, I just wasn't expecting it. I hadn't heard any of the kind of stuff at all. So it is, yeah, it's kind of a tough one, very, very mixed on overall with it, and is kind of where I landed. We then had the book I was very slowly reading throughout the like a month and a half, which was Shadow of the Torturer by Gene Wolfe. This was, I've planned to kind of do sort of a video more so almost reacting to it, because it's a book that I don't exactly even know how to review, because I was very enthralled with it. I really enjoyed it, but it also was just such a different sort of experience. I might legitimately, after reading it through, there's already some stuff that I think I like missed, and I've heard it's one of those series where you keep reading and you see more, but there's some things I miss or I think misinterpreted. So I'm debating on going through and like listening to the audio to have a second format to go through it, so that I can just consume it twice in two different ways and just see if things hit me differently, and then maybe make a video after that, because I just yeah, I'm very fascinated and very intrigued by this series, and will certainly be continuing the rest of it. Just again, it was one of those books where I almost felt like I wasn't reading a book, I was kind of experiencing it. It was just so different, and the writing style I found to be just so engaging to me. And I really enjoy the writing. And I think that was kind of after, when I first started this, I'm like, I think just from the way Gene Wolfe writes, I'm going to enjoy this. But I was also, there's a lot of intriguing stuff. There's a lot of stuff that's very vague, and it sounds like it's a series that might explain some things that might never explain other things. So I'll have to see. But yeah, that was a fascinating experience, and I'll certainly be continuing that series kind of slowly, I think, as well. But hopefully in the near future, because I want to know where it goes. Um, and then I did something that was totally just out of left field and completely different because I just sort of wanted something totally different as just sort of a palate cleanser. So I did This Story Might Save Your Life by Tiffany Crum. This was a friend of mine had read this and really loved it. And this is contemporary fiction. In no way SFF at all. It's contemporary fiction. And I did not particularly care for this. And yet, at the same time, I think this was exactly what I needed. I just needed sort of a reset, just something totally different out of the ordinary of my normal reads, because I'd done some things. I had some things that were just taking me a while. I'd been kind of slow. And so I did this one, and it's pretty short. And this is about like a podcast duo, and one of them goes missing, and it's sort of the, like, I guess, mystery slash thriller in some ways of figuring out what happened and everything going on, and like you're diving into what their relationship was behind the scenes with both the two podcast people and then their relationships and everything. And I thought it was done well enough in some ways, but I found some of the pieces predictable or like a little bit more dramatic than they needed to be for my taste. And granted, I am not the audience for this, so take it with a grain of salt, because I know I've seen some other people, including some people who read a lot of SFF, who love this. It wasn't for me, and yet it was the perfect thing for me to read. So it's funny how that works sometimes. Like, I think I gave this 2 stars, but at the same time, I'm so glad that I read it because I needed that sort of reset, and it worked really well. And then I jumped into April and read a ton of stuff, and really had a good pace going and haven't slowed back down since. So I think it was a good reset for what I needed. But that finishes up the month of March. Was not a lot of reading done in there. I was kind of slow, but then I read 20 books in April. So April will have a very long monthly wrap up, which will be coming out here very soon, because I know I'm late on the April, but I wanted to get to the March 1st. So watch for April coming soon, as well as some additional reviews that'll be coming out as well here too. A lot of stuff for what I read in April, so we'll have it coming. That's it for this one, though. Make sure to give the video a like if you enjoyed it. Check the link in the description, as always, for the Patreon if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizard the Enclave Discord if you want to check out that and talk about books, whether any of these books, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun. We'd love to have you. And of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.